Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. Today I'm going to be unboxing and reviewing the Epomaker Tide65. This was sent out by Epomaker for review, but as always, that does not affect my opinion of it. So the Tide65 is a premium keyboard with an aluminum case as well as a gasket mount style and hot swappable switches, but you might be surprised to hear that the price is only $120 USD. So this is actually a really good price for a premium built keyboard like this. The Tide65 is not a Hall effect board like some of the keyboards that I've been reviewing recently on my channel. The Tide65 is more aimed towards people who are looking for a regular mechanical keyboard with a premium build and sound. And also the Tide65 actually supports tri-mode connectivity, which means you get 2.4 gigahertz connection as well as Bluetooth. You can switch between the two depending on what you want to use the keyboard for. You can choose between 3 different colorways for the Tide65 on the Epomaker website. This keyboard comes in black, blue, and purple variants. And this keyboard is also compatible with QMK and VIA software, which means that you get extremely flexible software that you can use to do whatever you want, such as record macros, as well as create different layers for your keyboard as well. So getting into the unboxing here, obviously you start off with a user manual. In the box, you also get a USB-C cable. This is not a braided cable, it's just a regular USB-C rubber cable. And you get a switch puller and a keycap puller 2-in-1. And finally, in the box, you will get the keyboard itself. Epomaker sent me out the purple variant, and I gotta say, this keyboard looks very nice. The switches inside of here are the Epomaker Lemon switch. You can see all of the specs on the screen right now. Like I mentioned earlier, this entire board is hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches. So if you want to put your own switches into this board to customize the sound and feel, you can do that. Here's the bottom of the keyboard with that reflective weight with the Epomaker logo. The USB-C port is on the left side of the keyboard, and you will also find a switch here next to the USB port to switch between the dongle wireless as well as Bluetooth. On the right side of the keyboard, there's actually a little indent here for you to store your wireless dongle. So this is really nice if you're bringing the keyboard traveling, you can just put the dongle inside of this little slot. Alright guys, now that we have the keyboard plugged in, this is what it looks like right here. It's pretty hefty, like I said, because it is an aluminum case, and the build quality on this keyboard is absolutely solid. This keyboard comes in at around 1.27 kilograms. Really quickly, I want to touch on the keycaps. These are PBT keycaps right here, and as you can see, they are side printed. The legends are on the side of the keycap rather than the top, so the top is completely blank, gives it a very clean look, and then on the side of the keycaps is actually where the legends are. To be honest, this is not my favorite font that they used for these legends. I feel like if they used a cleaner, minimalistic font, it would have looked a lot nicer, but to each their own. Some people might prefer this font. One more thing, I want to talk about the tensioning on the volume wheel. So this volume wheel is actually one of the tighter volume wheels that I've tested, so you will not accidentally hit this volume wheel, but I do find it to be a little bit hard to scroll sometimes. It does loosen up a little bit over time, but straight out of the box, I found the volume wheel to be a little bit tight. Pressing it down, obviously there's no issues with that. One more quirk that I want to touch on is when I first plugged this keyboard in, it actually didn't work. It wasn't responding, like none of the keys were working, and I actually had to refer to the user manual to fully reset the board. In order to do that, it was very simple. I just had to hold down the function key and the space bar for 5 seconds. So you can see I'm holding it down now, and then the light on the keyboard will flash, as you can see here, and it will reset to the default. And then after that, the keyboard started working as intended, but straight out of the box when I plugged it in, it wasn't working. That might just be with this unit that I got, but if you have that issue, then all you need to do is reset the board itself. You can do a lot of things with the shortcuts on the keyboard. For example, you can turn off the RGB by holding down function, pressing Z, and that will turn the RGB off. You can't really see the RGB on camera really well unless I hold it like this. If you hold function and the up arrow key, that will increase the brightness of the LEDs. As you can see here, it does get pretty bright actually, and then the down arrow key will reduce the brightness on the LEDs. And if you hold function and the backslash, you can actually change the RGB effects. So you can see here, every time I hit it, the RGB effects will change. And there's also a bunch of different onboard shortcuts that you can do if you read through the user manual, but that's some of the basic ones. Let's go over the software for this keyboard. I'm going to be using VIA just to give you guys a quick showcase. So first off, what you have to do is actually download the file for the Tide65 here on their website. So after you download that, you'll get a zip, and inside of there will be the JSON file that you can unzip. Then you want to go over to VIA or QMK. So you just want to connect it to your keyboard here. And as you can see, it will show up, and I can rebind any of these keys to whatever I want. You can create macro keys, you can assign media keys as well, and you can pretty much do anything that the VIA software provides. And of course, you can just save it onto the keyboard's onboard memory afterwards. So the software is extremely robust since it is compatible with QMK and VIA, which are one of the two most widely adopted keyboard softwares on the market, so really no complaints about the software at all. Alright guys, moving on to the sound test portion of the video, I'm going to be doing a quick typing test on this keyboard so that you can get an idea of how it sounds. Alright guys, that was the sound test of the Tide65. Obviously, sound is very subjective, but in my opinion, I really like the sound profile of the Tide65. I think it sounds very nice, especially given the price point of $120 USD. I think this keyboard comes in at a very nice price for the premium build as well as the sound. So obviously this keyboard is not targeted towards extremely competitive gamers looking for every edge possible with Hall effect, but obviously this keyboard can be used for gaming. I had no issues using it for Valorant, but I think this keyboard is a fantastic option for those looking for a wireless option that also feels premium and sounds premium as well. So if you're in the market for a keyboard that can be used wirelessly, both 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth connection, and is priced very well for a premium build and sound quality, the Tide65 is definitely worth looking into. But yeah, that's pretty much it guys. That was my review of the Epomaker Tide65. Really like this board. If you guys want to check it out, I will of course leave a link to it in the description below. But that's pretty much it guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and I will see you in the next one. Peace.